Yikes.
Welcome everyone to Totally Online Gaming Group's D&D 5th Edition live stream campaign, The Blackest Heart. We're glad you guys could join us. Unfortunately, my camera is deciding to play games on me right now. Hopefully I will be able to get it to work here shortly, but we'll just have to see what I can do about that. I might have to play around with a couple settings on the fly while we're going, but we'll see what we can do with it. And if we can make that work. Okay. And while I'm working on that, gonna go over our announcements for this week. So the announcements this week are pretty much the same as every other week. Surprise, surprise. I want to give a shout out to Critical Hit Gaming Supplies. That's www.criticalhitgamingsupplies.com. You guys can get some really awesome dice bags, dice trays, miniatures. He just got a new dragon miniature that he did a test print of. I mean, so there's some really awesome things that he's working on, and a whole bunch of stuff you can choose from there. So go check them out. You can see Dragonfire45 hooked us up there in the chat, so you guys can see that. So there's that, as always. Also want to give a shout out to the Spock Nation, as always. Great bunch of people. Totally awesome gamers and streamers in that group. You guys really should go check them out. I'm sure you're going to find someone that you will enjoy watching, getting to know in their chat. And hey, get out there and support all the small streamers out there. Show them the love, all right? Also, the Aaron Discord server, ARRYN. Go ahead and check them out if you are a big-time fanatic and fan of D&D and all things D&D, 5th edition, etc. in there, and other tabletop role-playing games, because that's what they are. They're a Discord server devoted to primarily D&D, but I think they also talk about some other games and stuff on there. But there's a whole bunch of people there, great community, lots of good information, meet lots of friends that share common interests, and you even get hooked up with some play-by-post games, or maybe even find some of them that are local in your area and be able to set up your own groups. So give them a look. Other things. We are slowly coming here towards the end of March, which I mentioned on the last game, that end of March is when the beta comes out for this wonderful product called Tailspire that I've got in on the Kickstarter for, and I'm going to be doing some fun things with that and kind of experimenting with that to make sure I can get the hang of it. And if it works out as well as it looks, we'll be using that instead of Roll20 from that point on, once we've had a chance to kind of all play around with it and get used to it and see if it's going to work for us. And that's pretty cool stuff. You should check them out. You can look them up on YouTube. They are pretty cool. Let's see, what else? Also, fast approaching the time when we should be getting the shipment coming for those dice bags and dice. Probably another 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. Who knows? This whole coronavirus thing going around, things have kind of slowed down. So hopefully we will get those in a relatively timely fashion. And as soon as we do, I will let you guys know when our giveaways are going to happen. And you'll be able to be the proud owner of a really nice dice bag with the official TOGG logo on it, as well as some really cool dice. So go ahead and make sure you keep tuned in to us for that info. Let's see, what else? Last thing that I can think of is, I mentioned it last week as well, is that I have been invited by a podcast called Top Tabling to be a part of their live stream, their game, their thing that they do on their podcast, which they're going to be interviewing a whole bunch of D&D DMs and I think some players and other like content creators and things like that. They've asked to join them, and when that is gonna come out, I will let you know. We're still working out schedule things, but it'll be kind of a cool thing to get together and talk with other DMs and answer questions about things like world building, character building, story development, whatever, all things like that. So make sure you give that a look. Check them out ahead of time. They're pretty cool, and give them a look once I have a date. Be sure to tune in for that. Anybody else have any announcements? No? All right. Well, in that case, without further ado, I bring you The Blackest Heart. All right, and we are back. 1 second here. I'm going to try one more thing here to see if I can fix my camera.
Goodness me. Hold up. Shit, I almost fell. Okay, critical hit supplies.
Yeah.
So exciting, it'll knock you off your bed. They have beautiful and luxurious indeed, with some beautiful, luxurious, as I open them up, metal dice. Oh, that's not into the camera. Dice. Thick purple and silver is probably one of the favorite dice that I own now. Yeah, you want more? Critical Hit Game Supplies.com. Yeah. Miniatures, trays, dice bags, dice as well as a special. Are they still doing the really, really nice gold-plated?
Yeah, those are still on their site. If you've got money to burn, and
Look, if you want to show off,
yeah,
how great D&D is to your life, go ahead and stop by Critical Hit Game Supplies. They may have some things for you.
like that $15,000 dice set.
Hey, I mean, look, people are willing to get it. People are willing to get it.
Yeah. Hey, and if you use the TOGG 15 code at checkout, imagine 15% off of $15,000. Imagine how much you're saving. That's amazing, isn't it?
Amazing.
Yeah, that's a ton of money right there. You're
That
saving.
is. I did not think about using that.
Mm-hmm.
I may have to read what I'm spending my money on during this time.
All right. So, unfortunately, my camera is still being a pain in the butt. I may have to deal with that after this session. But let's go on with this session. So, where you left off, if you remember, you had found yourselves in the middle of a horrific storm, surrounded by some aquatic humanoids riding sharks, including one that was gigantic, almost megalodon-like, if it could be said to be such.
The Meg.
Yes, and through this fight, you managed to, some of you lose your footing due to waves breaking over the deck, others fearlessly and recklessly diving into the water of their own accord. Yet you did manage to fight off this onslaught on the ship and were able to continue on with your voyage after some extensive times repairing the ship, and all of you basically taking up some duties on board since a good portion of the small crew had been wiped out by the events of that terrible, terrible evening. But you managed to survive, and after only about 20 more days of sailing, which fortunately nothing happened to waylay you, you arrived at the port city of Oceanica, where it was discovered that one of your party members, Galdor, had decided to stay behind on the ship and spend some time away from the group with promises to return. And so you guys know, if he hasn't already told you, his work is really, really hectic right now, and he's actually trying to go for promotion, and, move something better. So we've got our fingers crossed for him, and he said hopefully it should only be a month or two at most of dealing with this. So there will be some solo Galdor adventures over Discord that he and I will be doing to deal with his time hanging out with Captain Jackson Eagle on the Harbinger. But he has promised to meet up with you again as soon as he gets his head cleared. Also, tonight, unfortunately, due to life circumstances, Diana will also not be here. So it is just Oak, Jacob, and Reya. And you find yourselves in the docks at the city of Oceanica. Looking out from the docks out towards sea, you see it is a beautiful day out. The sun is glistening off the water. There's some, small waves going. You get the sounds of the ocean and seabirds, and it sounds beautiful. It looks beautiful, except to maybe those who have queasy stomachs and are sick of being on a ship. And as you turn to look inland, you see the typical docks of a large, bustling metropolis, where there are several large piers with smaller docks coming off of them, and the Harbinger is currently pulled up to one of those docks off of one of the larger piers, as are almost every single dock is loaded with some ship or another. Some are smaller than the Harbinger, some are about its size, and there are some that are absolutely massive. Huge galleons and brigantines, and just these enormous ships. Some may be for trading, some for other reasons you don't necessarily know. But there is a lot of hustle and bustle going around the docks as you see people of pretty much all races in shapes and sizes running about to and fro, some seem to be ordering others around. Others seem to be doing busy work, moving boxes, carrying cargo of some kind. Uh, you know, there are people that have some stalls out that are selling fresh fish and things like that, and other typical shoreline activities that you would expect to see, including uh, a a shipbuilding facility for further down the way. And looking past that, you see in the distance of this city some very large spires of the central castle of Oceanica. There's you can also see some other taller buildings, maybe a good 4, even 5 stories tall, uh, kind of off to the more of the southeastern direction from where you are at the docks. And other than that, you are experiencing the sights, sounds, and smells of an ocean port. So, what would you like to do?
The first thing Oaks does after pointing out the shipyard to Reya and saying, "Hey, Reya, want to go blow down that door?" He runs inland. He looks for a tree, and once he finds a tree, he hugs it and just latches onto it.
Okay, there's not a ton of trees around. It's very well developed, but you can actually find a few kind of you know on the edges of things. There are some areas where you know trees were just left alone, and so you easily find one.
Yeah, that's just what Oak is doing. He's hugging the tree right now.
Okay,
He's happy to be on land.
all right. Rhea, Jacob, anything in particular you guys would like to do?
Um, I mean, just in general, always searching for the next place to sleep.
Okay, Rhea, if she's on.
Just gonna be like looking at Oak, being like, really?
I'm sorry, but I've been away from my home, the land, for far too long, and I need to show my appreciation. And then he goes back to hugging the tree, and he's just like, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I was gone for so long. Please don't hate me."
So, what else would you like to do here, Jacob? You mentioned finding a place to rest for the night. Is there anything else you guys would like to accomplish in the city, or anything else maybe you're supposed to accomplish in the city?
There is a thing that Jacob would specifically like to go and find if there is a library in town.
Okay. I will say both you and Rhea can roll for this. Either history, or if you don't have history, just straight intelligence.
Yeah, natural
wow.
20, 27.
Yeah. And Rhea, if you want to try as well, you by all means. You can either try history if you're proficient in it, or just a straight intelligence check. But Jacob, you definitely know that Oceanica has a fairly good university, and it's quite large, and they have several libraries. I can't speak today. Several libraries throughout the campus of this university, and that depending on what subject you wanted to study, you could pick certain libraries are focused more on one thing than another. Some are focused on the arcane arts. Some are focused, it's like a large university with several individual colleges of study.
Exciting.
Okay.
I cannot wait.
You're
Rhea's
gonna have
probably.
to drag Oak you're gonna have to drag Oak off this tree if you wanna if you wanna get him anywhere.
Reya's probably looking for our contact.
Okay. So, and just so you know, I don't have Discord up just yet. Hold on. There we go. Alright, now I've got that up just in case. Alright, so Reya, you start looking for your for a contact or for some information. So I'll say you can go ahead and, if you want, you can roll. What is that again? Do-do-do-do. Load, please. Ah, wrong one. I'd call that investigation.
Okay. I'm gonna use my lucky feet. 16.
Okay. So, what in particular do you say or do to try to find this information?
Do I know the name of the person that like was supposed to help us get the knuckle bones? Father Bryant. I'm gonna like go to a
Yes.
church and ask for Father Bryant.
Okay. So I assume you start out by trying to figure out where the church is.
Yeah, I mean, I figured I could ask
Okay.
some
Yeah.
passerbys.
Yep. And with a 16, you easily get directions to the church and where that's located. You come across a uh, who says to you, "Yes, you can go down this way to the right. Follow the road, just up the street. Uh, it's several blocks. You're going to pass the market, and then if you head to the east and turn to the east, you will arrive. Um, you'll see the church, but you'll arrive probably um, a few more blocks to get to it. So yes, you can try that. That should get you there. Uh-oh. Did we lose sound on you guys? Can you guys hear me? I can no longer hear you. Hello? Hello? Hmm. Testing. Testing. Hmm. Hello? Nope. Hello? Hello? Test. Hmm.
If we have them here, then there are more people for other people to hit other than us.
I'm getting hit with excuse when they're around. By them.
But they also hit the people that hit us.
The only me was that giant ice cube.
You
No
hear me
one
now?
else touched me.
Yes.
Oh. What the HE double hockey
To be fair,
sticks?
Reya,
Yeah.
Reya, to be fair, a giant ice cube isn't a person.
You know, that's a fair point.
Yeah. It's almost like exist and they cast ice magic on water and then that water became a cube and an ice cube slammed into.
No.
It's almost like they were uncontrollably scared of the water and unleashed
they
that
need
magic
to, they
unconsciously.
need to like. Yeah, they're wild card. We should get rid of them. You're right. You're right. Wild card. That's what they are.
Now.
No, it means we help them with their fears, and we learn, and we and
They are a wild card to be abandoned.
that means we can. Reya, we are all wild cards.
Yes, yes, you are.
Not
I
you.
mean, it's a pretty fair point.
Whoa,
I jumped into the ocean to fight a shark.
And you slayed that shark.
No, Jacob did.
You hurt that shark.
Okay, I'll take
See how it's live. How are things in your NDM?
Okay, there we go. What the ever-loving beaver fuck. Okay. That was
That is a
interesting.
break.
So, did you hear anything of the lady?
Oh,
No.
No. Okay, so you run across this lady as you are trying to find the church, and she says, well, yes, you can, go down the block, down this way to the south, and if you go, it's going to be, it's quite a walk. You will go past the market, um, and then after you get past the market, you'll want to go to the east and turn east and follow that street maybe for a few more blocks, and then you should see the church if you go that way. I hope that's helpful.
Okay, thanks. And then Ray's just gonna start walking away.
Okay.
Oak grabs Jacob and he's like, Jacob, the church is over there. How do we? Or it's like he's like he points in a general like he's just like, where's the church and how do we get to it? You know everything.
Oh, that way. And just gonna start walking.
Following Reya.
Okay. All right. So as you start following Reya, going through the town, and you're seeing in the docks area. It's very typical. Most of the buildings in that area are lower class. There's not a lot of ostentatious building, not a lot of superfluous stuff for design. They're very functional buildings, and usually, you can see down a couple side streets while some of the main road that you are taking to go south is the buildings are okay. They're decent, but they're definitely, they're weathered some, and no one's taken the time to make sure that the paint is up to date and nice, or there's any extra, architecture. They're just all very simple. And as you kind of walking down the streets, and you can see down some alleyways and some side streets, you see that, kind of behind this decent facade that the buildings have along this main street, the ones behind it are of a lower class, and some may even be going into kind of a slum type area.
How crowded is the streets right now?
It's fairly crowded. It's right now. You guys are probably at about 8 o'clock in the morning or so. You pulled in the morning, and it's nice out and everything, but it's not overloaded with people. But there's a decent amount. I would say, you know, you're definitely seeing plenty of people around.
Alrighty.
Okay.
With all these people around, does it seem like anyone is actively following us?
Give me a perception check.
Can I click on Hrim's little thing and do the perception thing?
Yes, you can.
Oh,
Can
it's
I
bad.
make a perception check? Because he's just looking at everything.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty bad.
Okay. So in that case,
Ooh, what does Oak see?
Do 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 do. And it has a little button. Wow, that's amazing.
yes, I actually just did that today for you. So you've got.
I was just sitting here. I was like, what? There are buttons with him?
Buttons.
All right, so you just received a message. And why is it that damn screen? It's not supposed to be.
Oak will nudge Jacob, and he'll say,
What?
"Yeah, there's someone following us. Do you want to send her rim up to fly around and keep an eye on them?"
Well,
I can give you a piggyback ride.
Hmm?
I can give you a piggyback ride.
I
I can carry you like a sack of flour.
Yeah, I guess that's very true. If you, okay, Herbert's just gonna take off.
And Oak will pick Jacob up like a sack of flour.
Oh, this, okay, like that. All right. And Hrim is going to fly up a little higher in the air, and assuming that.
Yeah, it's a
What do they look like? You didn't say.
small figure, tiny, falling about 50, 60 feet behind us.
Okay. Hrim is going to try to.
They're darting in and out, and shadows and stuff, and they're being all sneaky like.
Ah, fun. That's my favorite. Actually, could you put me down?
Sure. And Oak puts him down, and he seems really sad because he likes to carry people.
All right. With Hrim being higher, Jacob would like to try and hide himself, get lost in the crowd, and kind of follow behind the party for a little bit.
Okay. Okay, so go ahead and give a stealth check then.
Alrighty. 14.
Okay. All right.
Ugh, rolled an 8. You hate to see it.
Okay. Why does that keep showing up? Darn it. All right. I'll deal with all that later. Okay, so you feel that you're being fairly sneaky.
Alright. I'm going to trail back and wait until if Ren eventually sees the person that Oak points out. It gets in front of him and he's going to try to trail behind them.
Okay. So you're trying to slip further back and get behind whoever this person is.
Yep.
All right. So I'm going to need you to make another perception check.
Alright. You could do it, buddy, I believe. Yeah.
Okay, that's much better. So as you're kind of dropping back slowly, kind of mixing yourself in with some of the crowd of people and just slowly falling further and further behind Oak and Reya, you eventually notice through Hrim's eyes, who's trying to keep track of you from overhead, where this little person seems to be kind of darting in and out. And you recognize, just kind of a flash of their clothing, you notice a very, very garish looking vest
Oh no.
that is mostly covered up by a hooded cloak that is drawn around them, and this small person seems to be just kind of keeping their distance but watching. And as far as you can tell, they don't seem to notice that you have dropped back.
Okay.
You are still ahead of them, but only about 20 feet or so now.
Alright. Jacob will mingle. Is there like a quick kind of like store thing really close by, or like for people talking about some random topic?
Yeah, you can see some people who are randomly, a couple people here and there maybe gathered talking. You don't see any stores as of yet,
Okay.
but all of you can see that a little ways ahead, the crowd seems to get a little bit thicker, and you can hear the calls of merchants, yelling up from their stalls, to come see their wares, to come, fresh bread, come get, things like that. And you can hear that it's a little further ways up. There's stores and shops.
Okay. Jacob is going to just kind of quickly just mingle with the people and just like about the crazy storm that went through like a few nights ago out at sea. It was crazy, and just kind of waiting, still through Hrim's eyes, waiting for him to pass by to trail afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you stop and wait, and you wait for a little while. You feel fairly confident that at the pace that this individual is going, he's probably past you, and you're now probably a good 100 feet behind Oak and Reya as they are continuing on their way up this thoroughfare.
Alrighty. Yeah, no, I mean, if the person is passed, he will then move forward and try to keep Prim somewhat close to keep an eye on the specific person and their location.
Okay. So you managed to be able to notice him and are just kind of trailing behind and watching at this point.
All right, now, I will continue to do that until provoked otherwise.
Okay. And this should finally fix this issue here. Alright, good. So now I finally got that straightened out. Okay. So as you are following this individual from behind, and they are following you guys from behind.
Oh.
Ooh. Eventually, you start to get close to the market itself, and the sounds get louder, the noises get louder, and Oak and Reya, as you are starting to go through the market, I need perception checks from both of you, please.
Oh. Mm-hmm. You said perception?
Yes. Okay. Oak, you see...
Oak is very perceptive. He
Yes.
he hasn't read anything today yet.
Yep. As you are... Yes, that is his bane, isn't it? You see up ahead, about a good 50 feet or so, you see something that catches your eye. There is a tiefling who looks familiar
Oh no.
that is standing arguing with
Oh, no.
some merchant, and next to the tiefling is a dragonborn, a human, and some horses that look very familiar to you.
Yes!
Oh, no.
Oak runs right to the horses. He doesn't give a shit about the people. He just goes up to the horses. He's like, my babies, my children, my friends. And he just hugs them. So, he's just so happy.
As you do that, the tiefling turns to you and goes, "Oh my. Huh. I was hoping we'd find you again. We found your horses and thought something had happened to you, but you had said you were headed to Oceanica, and we thought maybe we'd find you, so we grabbed them and took them along with us.
Thank you.
It's not a problem. Where's the rest of your group?
Somewhere back there.
Reya, were you still kind of keeping up with Oak, or just still walking at the same pace?
I would have walked up.
Okay.
I
Oh,
wouldn't have ran.
I see the young one. Ah, but where's the rest of your group?
Oak is too busy crying and cuddling the horses.
Ah, yes. Ah, now I see who I should talk to. Yes, was it what was your name? And the Dragonborn kind of turns and looks and speaks up and says, that one's name was Reya. She was very nice. I liked her. It is good to see you, he says in your direction as you are approaching.
I'm gonna say, good to see you too, in Draconic.
He smiles a big toothy grin when you say that in Draconic, and it's most people would see a grin like that if they had never seen a dragonborn before and be scared out of their mind, because it doesn't look very pleasant, even though that's his approximation of a smile. But you met him before and you know enough about such things that you realize he's genuinely interested to see you and appreciated you speaking in his native tongue. He says, well, where's the rest of your group? And the tiefling mask says, yes, where are they? This is to you, Reya. Uh-oh, did we lose? Did we lose sound again? Sound? Oh, mother. Hello. Nope.
And I, out of character, responded with rude.
All right, so hopefully we are all back again now.
Yeah, it looks like everything's back up and going.
Yep. Okay, so yes, he was like, so where the rest of your group? And the tiefling mask also asked that as well, and says, yes, where's the rest of your group?
I thought Ray already answered that.
Oh yes, that's right. I'm old and forgetful. All right. So you said sometimes wish they weren't here.
Sometimes I wish they were nowhere.
Mm.
She's petty.
Mm.
Never said she wasn't.
Hmm. And then Mask looks up a little bit and says, "Oh well, obviously your wizard friend is here somewhere." He was quite handsome.
Yeah, he's. Well, he was here. I don't know where the fuck he went.
He's looking for someone who was following us.
There was someone following us?
Someone was following you.
Mm-hmm.
Curious. Well, I suppose if you want, please, my apologies. Please take your horses.
Horses.
Yes, they're yours. We as I said, we hoped we would find you. Didn't expect it to be quite so easy, but we'd hope we'd find you here, so that we could give them back to you.
Oak just like takes whatever, like the reins, whatever they're being led with, just like, thank you.
It's
And
not
he just
not a problem.
hugs his horses more and cries.
Okay. And unfortunately, if you wouldn't mind though, we did use them to help carry some of our stuff. If you wouldn't mind us taking our stuff first.
No, it's all ours.
Go ahead.
No, it's unfortunately our normal method of carrying stuff is no longer with us. And she kind of sighs. Closes her eyes for a second.
Doesn't know what that means because he wasn't here the last time they were. Last time Freddy was there. Oak was not. So he's not attached to them.
That's fine. But she kind of sighs and then straightens back up and says, "Ah, very well. Yes, Sacris, would you please gather the things? You too, Urza. If you want, if you say you're being followed, we could, if you are heading somewhere else, we could stay here and keep an eye and see if we notice anyone, and then, perhaps arrange a meeting between you and your suspicious tailor."
I don't think there's really any need for that. If they ever cause any problems, we can just kill them.
I mean,
You could, however, I would not recommend doing such out in the open.
Why not?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, if they're causing problems, isn't that the natural solution?
No.
no, it's usually for them to be arrested.
But it's like arresting, but with a higher bolt.
That may be the case, but typically that gets you in more trouble than it does them.
Alright. Not kill them, severely injure them so they can't mess with me again. Perfect.
No.
Recommend against it, but to each their own. Anyway, if you need anything, we actually will be staying at the Gilded Lily. You can always ask for the Frostbreakers, or what's left of us. And she kind of half laughs again and
oh,
snaps out of it.
oh no.
But good journeys to you. And she goes back then to haggling with the shopkeep that she was discussing something with about some kind of memorial stone or something. She was saying. Jacob,
Yes.
you now have gotten to within about 40 feet of Oak, Reya, and this, conversation that's going on. And you notice that about 15 feet away from where they're having their conversation, there is a food cart that is sitting there, and there's a merchant out front, selling his wares, and kind of hidden behind one of the wheels of this food cart is the little spy that you saw watching you. And he is just sitting there watching Oak and Reya and this other group talking. Doesn't seem to be doing anything, just kind of sitting there.
I would like to, if I can, get up behind them.
Okay. Give me another stealth check then.
Something I'm just amazing at. 22.
All right. The sneaky wizard.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Okay. You feel like you are doing a good job and well hidden.
You've been noticed. He says you feel like it.
Oh no.
You've been noticed.
And as you get up to this individual, like what are you going to do?
Uh, with the things that he knows how to do, he will pull out his dagger, uh, and will kind of grab the person, turn around, and push the dagger up to him. Pardon, what are you doing?
As you do that, as you put the dagger to spin him around and put the dagger to the throat of this halfling whose hood flies back as you whip him around, you notice a familiar face.
God damn it,
It's-
it's Phineas, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
God damn it.
As you see a kind of chubby little halfling who looks at you and goes, "Ah, ah, Jacob. Hi. Don't mind me. How are you doing? Can you please
Yeah, I'm doing great. What are you doing?
Well, I noticed you guys, and I wanted to come say hi, but
Oh,
Oak
boy.
kind of scares me. I mean, last time we were together, Oak smashed me with his axe. I just, you know, didn't really want to get hit again.
And he got smashed with a fireball by Reya.
Well, yeah, but well, you're not there, so you're not. Really...
And so you decided to trail and follow us.
Well, yeah, I was hoping to see, you know, Diana. I mean, she's nice, and she would probably protect me from Oak hitting me again.
Well, yeah, she's over there with them, but I'm a little more concerned on why you're being sneaky. I understand that you don't want to get hit, but I'm not particularly fond of being followed as such. So next time, as a warning, just come out in the open.
Yeah, but I still don't like getting hit.
I'm not gonna hit you.
Okay, can you move the dagger away from my throat then, please?
Oh yeah, sorry, force of habit.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, that was a little nerve-wracking. What are you guys doing here, by the way?
I'm looking to find some more information about some things that I've been meaning to research.
Oh, well, they got like a really good library here.
I
bunch of
know,
'em.
I've heard.
A bunch of them.
Nerds.
You came to the right place.
I'm glad I did. It's been what I've been looking for a long time. I need some new books.
Oh, that's cool. I know where some are. I like. Are you looking for anything in particular?
Um,
My uncle actually is one of the librarians over at the College of Antiquity.
and give me a second to write that shit down. And what's the name that I should be looking for?
Oh, his name is Rupert Bumbleschmoog.
Rupert Bumbleschmidt.
Yes.
All right.
I hate his last name. It's almost as bad as that one time I found out America had a certain politician. His last name was Butterfield.
Mm-hmm.
Butterfield.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you. I
No
greatly
problem.
appreciate that.
Hey, no problem.
Really important information.
You know,
It is.
if you promise that Oak won't like try to smash me again, I could show you guys around the city. I mean, I've lived here pretty much all my life. I know where things are.
Oh, that'd be wonderful. I'll bring you over to Diana and the rest of the group. I'm pretty sure that as long as you don't do anything stupid, you'll be fine.
Like hurt my horses?
Okay, what would you consider stupid when it comes to things Oak doesn't like?
Well, any animal don't hurt.
What if it's not an animal? What if it's a living rock that's trying to kill him?
No.
That's more confusing.
That's what happened last time. Just saying.
All right. Just don't do anything, and I'll lead you through it.
Okay. Sounds good. I'll follow your lead.
All right. I will walk over to where Oak and Reya are standing,
Okay.
and the rest of the group, I guess.
You two see Jacob approaching, finally, and next to him is Phineas.
Oak looks at Phineas, mid-cry, and he just sobers up immediately. He's just like, you.
Hold on.
Okay, here. Hold on. Idea.
Yeah. What's up?
Stop me if this is stupid.
He quickly reaches behind his back into a little pouch and pulls out an apple.
And he says, he puts his hand out and he goes, "For your horsies?"
You'll need 3 more apples to get on my good side, good sir. And he'll take the apple and he'll feed it to
Boom! 3
to
more.
Bean.
His hand darts back into the pouch and boom! Apples just keep coming out. You actually end up with like
Oak
10.
just takes them and he's just feeding them. It's just like a conveyor belt.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
like
okay.
Feeding them to all the horses.
there are like 10 apples that come out of there.
Yeah, Phineas was following us.
I think it's gonna be okay, huh?
He's saying that to Jacob, kind of on the side.
He didn't hit me.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's a good start, I guess.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Hi, Diana.
Oh, what?
Hi, Reya. How
And
you
then
doing?
Oak looks at Phineas. Oak picks up Phineas by the scruff of his shirt. He's just
Hi.
like, okay, man. Here's the thing. Jacob and Diana have been in this stupid pining relationship for like, I don't know how long, but it's stupid and you need to not get in between it. You're gonna ruin all of our plans.
Hey, whoa. It ain't like that.
I'm sorry, what?
It ain't like that.
See, he's got the right idea. I mean,
I don't like her like that.
Jacob, you have no say in this.
He leans, since you're kind of holding him up, you're close. He kind of
Yep.
leans closer and he says,
Can I whisper something to you? Just don't hit
Sure.
me.
Okay.
"Okay." So he leans in.
Okay.
He leans in and he whispers in your ear.
Oh goodness, is the rest of the frost breathers still there?
Yes, they are.
Oh no.
But
Frem will come down and land on the shoulder.
but they seem to be kind of occupied with their dealings, mostly the dragonborn Sacris, the cleric, and the human Urza, who, if you remember, looks very atypical wizardly, like the stereotypical long beard human, has eyes.
Oh, you don't have to rub it in.
Yes, I know.
I'm a cool wizard too, okay? Not all wizards need eyes.
Hey, some would argue cooler. Yeah, I mean, takes a special person to be able to go around with no eyes and still do what you do. So,
Very true.
so there you go. Sorry it took so long to type, but there you go, Oak. That's what he whispers to you. So,
Oak drops him,
Oh,
and he just looks like ugh. He just rolls his eyes, and he's just like ugh. Fanboys.
I'm sorry, what happened?
well,
Nothing you need to worry about, Jacob.
Right. Also, how do we get the horses?
Yeah, these lovely people who I've never met before have brought them back to us.
Jacob will turn.
well,
Oh, you mean...
Oak met them. You just didn't. Meet
Oh yeah, I know. I did. But I'm putting it in the context that Oak just kind of blacked out during that. He remembers nothing.
Doesn't even
From that
remember the
one session.
spiders.
Oh yeah, I remember the spiders.
Okay.
But before that,
Yeah, isn't it the frost breathers, right? Oh, there's a lot more... And he's gonna kind of silently to himself. There's a lot more people than last time. I hope nothing bad happened.
And you see Sacris, the Dragonborn,
Yeah.
kind of look up and look over at you. You're pretty sure his ears picked up what you said.
Shit.
And he looks at you and he says, "Don't worry. It was not your fault. Earthguard, he saved us all. He sacrificed himself so that you and your friends and us as well could live."
Terribly sorry to hear that. It's always difficult dealing with the loss of a comrade.
And he's like, "Yes." And he's not saying this super loud.
No.
He's because you guys are actually kind of back a little ways from where Mask is, who's starting to get in kind of a heated argument with this merchant about this memorial stone. And he says, "She took it harder than most of us. She was
Right.
in love. She was in love with him. She plays much, but we know it to be true. You know, just I wish people would say what they really feel. Humans are strange like that. So are these tieflings and things."
Yeah. Not a lot of people get that. Pardon me for intruding. What is she arguing about?
She is trying to get a headstone, a special one,
Right.
just for Uthgard. And then we will go back and see if we can find his body and lay him to rest.
Can I say something in Draconic?
Sure.
Alright, I'm gonna type it though, so the
Okay.
party doesn't know what it is.
it's
Well,
about killing
is it-
someone.
Is it about the pricing on it?
What you're asking him, like, what the argument is?
Yeah, is the argument based off of like the price or just the design?
Honestly, I think she's just upset and needed someone to bitch at.
Well, I know what that's like.
You know, her heart is hurting.
Yeah, I understand. If it means anything, and Jacob will reach into his pouch, he will pull out 75 gold. I do really appreciate what you all did, and if this could help in any way, I'd like to. And he will hand the he will attempt to hand the 75 gold over.
He, you notice Reya said something to him in Draconic, and he kind of turned towards her, and he said something back to her. When I finish typing it, Reya, you'll have it. But he says something back to her, also in Draconic, and kind of pats her on the shoulder, like a thank you pat, like a, I appreciate what you're saying. And he then holds his other hand up to you, Jacob, as if to say, I appreciate the gesture, but it's not money we need. It's, thank you, but no thank you type thing.
Right. Jacob will just put it, assuming he didn't take it, he will just put it back. Right. If there's any thing that you wish for extra assistance on, I'm sure whatever we have dealings here, we can help out in some way.
I appreciate it. I do. But I think we will be fine. We just need time. The wound is fresh.
Hi. All right. Again, my condolences on the situation. I will. Yeah. If you'll just walk away. All right. So, we're in a merchant district. Is there anything that anyone wants to find or get?
Huh?
No.
Doesn't sound like it. No one's in for shopping right now. Okay.
All right. Then I guess to a location to sleep is in order.
All right. It's still early in the day. You can always find accommodations for later, but right now you're looking at maybe 9 o'clock. It's still pretty early.
All right. Then
Well, I'm going to the church.
Okay.
Yeah, new Plan Horseshoe 4. Plan Horseshoe 4 is in effect right now, so...
What?
Plan Horseshoe
you
4,
heard,
it's the new plan.
Yeah, Plan Horseshoe 4. We gotta go do it. So, church.
You gotta go find the dipshit who knows where the knuckle bones are, then we gotta go get the bones, then we gotta leave Oceanica, then we gotta get Asteron in one piece, with the horses this time, and then we gotta get the stone, and then find the other stuff.
I think you left out burning the
This
church.
is plan.
That was a lot of
Oh
information.
yeah, we gotta burn the church!
I'm sorry, what?
Wasn't that plan 47?
Okay, that's point number 74. No,
Okay.
burn the church.
Look, give whatever information.
Oak has this numbered, by the way. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 12, 32, 74.
What about A and K?
Well, that was plan A and plan K. This is plan Horseshoe 4. So.
Okay.
Alright, so, I'm just going to... Y'all do what you'll need to do. I'm going to see if there's anything, interesting in my eyes. Around here in the shop.
You don't have eyes.
Sick burn, Oak.
Jacob's
Reya
gonna
goes
walk
for a
away.
high five.
Oak does the high five.
Jacob's gonna walk away.
All right, so we will.
Gonna mutter, I was the one who defeated the giant thing. Sort of.
All right, so we will first follow Oak and Reya. So you guys continue on towards the church. Yes, no, maybe so.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right, so you eventually get past the market district, and following the directions you had been given, Reya, it's a pretty easy, directions. You only really had to make one turn, which you get past the market and you turn left. So now you're heading east, and you walk for another 15-20 minutes. A few blocks down, and you finally see coming up on your left is a large church. And you recognize the symbol of Palor on it. You imagine that there are probably other churches as well. But
Excuse me.
when people refer to the church, they typically mean the Church of Palor in the human kingdoms, because that seems to be the most prominent one.
For now.
Humans.
So you arrive at the front of the church.
Alright, Reya's just gonna start
Oak has been
walking
dragging
in.
the horses along with him.
Okay.
Oak is he's got the horses, and he's gonna, if Reya starts to go into the church, Oak is gonna go into the church. The horses are not leaving his side.
Okay. So is that what you do, Reya? You head into the church?
Yep.
Okay. So as you go through, and like many of the churches back then with the kind of Gothic themes and the large grandiose styles, it's a large set of double doors that are currently open, and you see parishioners, going in and out, and you just walk right along in with Oak and the horses right behind you. And as you get in, you see a younger man who's dressed in very simple robes, most likely that of like a very low level person in the church, maybe a low level acolyte. Sees you walking in with these horses and goes, kind of runs up to you and goes, "Excuse me, sir, but I don't think they really want us to allow you to bring horses into the church."
For once, Oak looks at the guy and he just growls at him, just like, just go away, let me do my thing, fuck off.
And this guy, who is a good head shorter than you, just kind of cringes a little bit, and just not even saying a word, just kind of backs up step at a time, until he's about a good 10 feet away, and then he kind of like turns on his heels and he just runs, and his arms are just kind of flapping. He's like, "Ah!" Run, and you hear him going, "Father, Friar, we need somebody, please." And he just runs towards the back of the church, and there are plenty other, as I said, parishioners going in and out, lots of other people, and they're all they're not really saying anything, but they are all looking at this spectacle. And a lot of them are looking at the horses being
Oak
drawn
won't
in.
bring them all the way. Oak won't bring them all the way into the church. He'll like bring them in a bit. Kind of figure out that, oh hey, horses aren't supposed to be in here, but unwilling to let Reya out of his sight, so he'll stand near the doorway with the horses.
Okay.
Reya's gonna cast Gust to make a just a burst of wind, like throughout the church, and just
Okay.
be like, "Stop staring at us!" She's gonna like yell that out.
And a lot of the people you hear some kind of, you know, half, half shrieky gasps, like, you know, and that people just kind of turn away and just get their distance from you guys and go find, you know, places in the pews that are like farther away from where you're walking, and just trying to stay away and mind their own business. What else are you doing?
Kind of waiting. The person was calling for a father, so maybe it'll be the father we're looking for. So just gonna wait and see who shows up.
Okay. Well, eventually, you see, coming from that same direction that this young alkalite had run off to, you see the alkalite again, and this time he is like cowering, kind of behind another person who is dressed in slightly more decorated robes. Nothing too ostentatious, but little more decoration on them. And the person kind of walks up towards the two of you and the horses and says, "Excuse me, but what is the meaning of this?"
Hi, yes.
Just found my horses. You're not gonna take them away from me again. I'm taking them everywhere with me right now.
You don't
Anyway.
have to. I'm not going to take away your horses, young man. But
Yeah, you're not.
if you wouldn't mind, please just don't let them run freely.
Yeah, no shit, they're my horses. I'm not letting them out of my sight.
See, it is nothing to be afraid of, Jimmy. Now go back to your duties.
Jimmy.
So we're
Jimmy.
looking for Father. Is it Brian? Brian.
Bryant.
Ah,
Yeah,
yes.
With a T at the end.
Father Bryant. Yes. May I ask what this is about?
Father Dimspin
The
sent us
knuckle bones of Saint Aurelius.
that.
Yes, please.
We're here from the church in Asteron.
Yes.
And
Say no more. Say no more, please. Follow me, and yes, you can bring your horses, please. He immediately goes. You basically, you're just like in the entryway of the church. You've kind of just crossed the threshold of the double doors and been standing at the back where they're open. And he heads immediately off to the left of where you would be as you came through the doors, and is kind of looking to make sure you guys are following him, and heads all the way up to where the wall is, and then turns and starts walking along near the wall until he eventually gets to another door, fairly large enough that yes, the horses can fit through. And meanwhile, the other, several of the other parishioners are just kind of, they're not staring, but they are, just kind of watching out of the side of their eye, like, what the hell is this? Horses in the church kind of thing? And
it's 4 horses in the church.
Yes. And he opens the door on that wall and steps through and, kind of waves you to come through. And as you follow him, you are outside on the side of the church in the gardens that are hidden by a wall that comes up to the front of the church. And you start following it out to the back gardens of the church. And a good little walk through kind of a hedge maze that they have in the back. Into an open area with a fountain. And there seems to be nobody else around. and he says, "If you don't mind, one moment." He begins to put his hands together, says a prayer, and then after a good 10-15 seconds looks up and says, "Now, we shall not be disturbed. I am Father Bryant. I am who you are looking
Oh,
for."
yo. My dude.
Yes.
My dude.
So
I was
do you,
I was t- I was told to expect some people. I did not expect the horses, and he kind of has a little bit of a grin on his face. But such is life. I received a message that you would be arriving. So I have some information for you. I don't know if you are how you're going to accomplish your task, but the let's just say it's going to involve a little bit of finesse. The Knucklebones are currently in the possession of one of the wealthy families in the town. They are collectors. And they tend to keep things to themselves. Very interesting artifacts tend to disappear from places they are kept and somehow end up in their collection, or at least rumor would have it. It is not something that they show off to the world, for if it were found out publicly that they had such things, well, of course, they would not have them anymore, and the law would have its day. However, they are very good at hiding.
Oh
They-
no, I thought of the best idea.
They now, what I can tell you is that their last name is Redstone, and they are having
Do they
a
conduct Minecraft electricity?
No, they do not. They do not. But they do a lot of trading up and down the coastline. And their son was set to be kind of the next in line for the family business, yet he decided to apparently take off on another path. So the old man of the family is still the patriarch and runs things, and he runs a very tight ship. However, the lady of the family has a taste for fine entertainment, and she is having a masquerade ball coming up in 4 days hence.
It's a heist time.
We're gonna get killed.
Speak for yourself. I'm shopping, so I don't
well,
know.
What?
I mean, we're not gonna get killed. It's probably more likely we're gonna kill somebody.
Well, I wouldn't.
No, I'm talking out of character right now.
So am I.
Would. Well, okay. out
Or
of
am
character.
I?
Or are you? But he says, "Look, I may be able to procure you some invitations. However, it would be very difficult if you had another way to get them. then that is easier. By all means, use it. But if you give me a few days, I may be able to get some for you. But it would be last minute, and
Does she have entertainment already scheduled and planned?
oh, the Lady Redstone. Oh yes, she always does.
Damn it. There goes my plan.
But
Got a really awesome bard.
a bard, you say?
Yes.
That could come in handy. I will say, though, that you may also need... Do you happen to have within your group someone who is good at the darker arts of hiding in shadows and the like?
Oak points to Reya. We can put her in a bag and just let her sneak around. Just like bring her in,
bag?
put her on the floor, let her sneak around. You know, yeah, like you crawl out of it and then you go unnoticed and then you crawl around. Because no one's gonna notice you in a bag. I mean, we didn't one time. We left you on a horse. Remember that one time you fell asleep on a horse in a bag and we just kind of forgot about you?
It is a
Think of that
skill.
moment.
It's a skill. That's what it is. It's a skill. I like it. But, yes, if you find a better way, but to somehow infiltrate either the masquerade ball itself, or by whatever other means, I would not recommend using force, as they are very wealthy and very well guarded by private security. Plus, the local authorities do not take kindly to those who disrupt the nobility.
Big yikes.
So it may be something that, as I said, requires some finesse. However,
I don't know what that word means, but I know I'm gonna punch someone because those guys sound like assholes.
indeed they are. Indeed they are. And I would love to see that myself. To answer your question there, Reya, yes, it still counts as theft, and it also counts as murder. Yes, that's a whole different level of charges that would be brought against you.
How far away are we from like my hometown?
From your hometown, that is an excellent question. Why not I pull up the world map for you guys real quick?
Here we are.
And let's see. Alright.
It's been such a long
We're coming
time.
into focus.
Okay, so there's Oceanica.
Just get us all over there.
And your hometown, you are probably about... Well, that's a good 20 plus days travel.
Can you like ping it?
I'll give you a general idea. I'm not... Because... Let's see here. There. No, that's what I needed. Alright. Right there.
Alright, not too far, but different kingdom.
Yeah, different kingdom, and it is actually... That is quite far. Because if you look... That's 200 miles as the crow flies, which that's going straight through terrain without a lot of roads. So that's a good 20 days travel.
Okay.
Woo.
So, there you go. Now if there were roads, all the way straight through to it, like a straight line, that would cut it down significantly. But if you're going to take the roads, that's going to be 20 days travel. It might be a little quicker going through, not the roads, but not by much because of the more difficult terrain.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, he looks at you guys and says, I would recommend that you come up with a good plan, because I am confident that the Knucklebones are indeed there. It's just whether or not you can find them, and do so without upsetting the apple cart, as it were.
What apple cart? There's no apple cart! It's a house, not an apple cart.
I see. Let me rephrase that then.
You gotta work with that.
Without disturbing things too terribly much.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Okay. I will send a messenger to you with your invitations within 3 days from now, as soon as I can acquire them. Where are you staying, by the way?
Wow.
Don't know.
Haven't found a place yet.
Well, might I recommend the apple cart? It's a cute little inn and tavern.
Really, Jason?
Yep. Sorry, I had to now. Just don't upset them there. It's a cute little inn and tavern. They pride themselves on having the freshest fruits and vegetables of any serving establishment around. They also have rooms, and from what I hear, they are quite cozy. Not too far a walk, maybe another 45 minutes away, if you head to the west and then south. And the rates are reasonable.
Okay, yeah, we'll probably stay there then.
Okay. Do you have any questions of me? For that is all the information I have.
Nope.
Very well. Then, I shall send word to the apple cart upon verifying you have taken up a room there, that my messenger shall be arriving, hopefully with your invitations soon.
Okay.
Is there any other tools or equipment you may need for this endeavor?
Not that I know of.
Okay, very well. And do not
Oh,
worry.
do you
Yes.
think you could get your hands on like an extra set of thieves' tools?
Not hard at all. I will tell you what, the church obviously has a vested interest in the return of the Knucklebones of St. Aurelius. So your rooms will be taken care of for you.
Oh,
And
thank you. So nice.
And I shall do what I can to provide you with some thieves' tools, as you call them, and I will talk to some of my contacts to see what other implements you may need and send them to your rooms for you. If you have a
Cool.
request, when my messenger arrives, simply ask him.
Okie dokie.
Says, now, my spell has almost worn off, so we cannot talk here in secret much longer, so please, if you will. And he starts leaving this hedge maze. And what do you guys want to do?
I guess I'd go apple cart.
Um. Yeah, let's just go to the apple cart.
Okay. So, while all that was occurring, Jacob.
It's time to shop. Jacob's gonna look through to see if there's something that would stick out to him.
Something that would stick out to you. Okay. You see a couple things as you're kind of going through the market area. One thing you see is I need you to roll a wisdom save.
A wisdom save.
Mm-hmm.
19.
Okay.
Mm.
You see in the window of this shop what at first glance looks like some kind of torture instrument. Something that brings back a very, very harsh memory. And it all just that memory searing into your brain almost knocks you off your feet. It's just so powerful and emotional, but you manage to steel yourself and gain your composure, and you realize that it was just the angle that Rim was looking through the glass at and the reflection of the light that made some simple cooking utensils that were hanging up against the wall in there kind of have this very specific shape to them. You also, after that, you walk on a little bit further, and you almost smell more than Rim sees it. You almost smells kind of like ink and parchment. And as you are walking past the open doorway to a relatively small shop, and when Rim cranes his head and looks in, you see stacks upon stacks of old, dusty books with a little gnome sitting behind a counter just poring over one of these books. Just his nose is almost, square into it. He's so entrenched in reading this book.
I'll sit for a few moments in silence because he's bad at starting conversations, and then after a few moments of listening to each turns, hello.
Oh, yes, hello there. What can I do for ya?
I was just wondering what this shop is known for selling, other than
Oh, they're just used books. That's what I've got is used books. All sorts.
Well,
Anything in particular? Got
um,
stories. Um, you you like real stories or make believe or uh, or there some things on study. I've gotten some from the old libraries from that they've had extras of. I've got
right.
quite a few books. Yes.
Um, I was wondering, do you have any on uh, history of this area?
Yes. History, just like Oceanica or Arkspire or like how big?
Well, if you want more specific, I was more thinking of a kingdom not too far away. Um, I was wondering if you had any information on the history and maybe some recent events of uh, the region of Northcutt.
Northcott. Yes. Uh, follow me.
And he hops down off his stool that he's on, and kind of just waddles along across the floor a little bit with his stubby legs, and takes you around one set of shelves, goes between another. He's kind of looking through, and he managed to pull out one book. And you have never seen an organization system as horrendous as this, because no book seems to be sitting right. I mean, they're all like half of them are laid on top of each other. Some are sticking out. Some are sideways. Some are open on a shelf. With other books piled on top. But he seems to know exactly every book he's looking for. He finally gets, and he pulls out one that's a good 4 inches thick, and pulls it out and kind of blows a whole cloud of dust comes off it, and he kind of starts paging through it, and he opens it.
Yes, here, right here.
And he holds the book open up to you and says,
Right there. See?
and as Rim looks at it, you see what looks to be a chapter in this massive book that is just starts right at the top, says Northcutt. And you as he was flipping through, you could see that obviously some of the other chapters were other areas or specific cities or things like that. So it seems like it's got quite a bit of information.
All right. How much are you looking for this book?
Well, this is a fine book. See? Fine. 20.
20. 20 what?
Gold?
That does sound pretty nice.
Very sturdy. See?
He puts it on the ground. He stands up on it
I'm
and then picks it back up.
See? Very sturdy.
Wait, how about this? A deal, in a sense. What if I get you 10 gold and I get you a book from the Library of Antiquity? Anyone that you were personally interested in?
You bring me the book first and the 10 gold. Then I'll give you this. Yes.
All right. I just need to know the book that you're personally interested in. Anything in particular that you would like?
That is a very good question. Yes. How about something on the history of... Oh, the history of the Vaughan Wars, specifically the Battle of the Tisrain River.
History of the Bone Wars.
Vaughan Wars. Vaughan.
Vaughan.
Vaughan, young man. Yes, have... Humans. Short-lived memories. Short-lived race.
God, but yeah, it's sometimes hard to read books.
Well, that's why we have books, yes.
Indeed. Battle of
The Tisrain River.
Tisrain River.
Yes.
Alrighty.
I would quite like to have more information on that.
Alright, well, I will do my best on what I can get from that. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I will be back so that I can make that offer and get that book from you. I think it would prove useful to me.
Sounds like a good plan to me. And then he turns and he takes the book and he puts it back on the shelf. Almost tosses it. Not quite. But just kind of lobs it up there on the shelf.
Jacob's soldiers.
And then he just toddles off back to his stool and puts his nose back in his book. And I need you to make a perception check, please.
Go.
Okay. You notice that when he tossed that book on that shelf, a few other books kind of fell over and fell down. And when they moved, you caught out of the kind of just the peripheral of Hrim's vision that behind some of those books, there seemed to be a kind of a whitish gray, light, like very light gray, almost white stone that had some very interesting characters carved into it. Some kind of script, but you just caught a glimpse of it.
And it was only when he threw the book and it kind of rattled it a bit and showed it.
Yeah, a couple. Well, you can see it now. If you turn to look, you can see it now because what happened is some of the other books kind of fell and moved aside, and
right.
This stone. If you look over that direction, you see it looks like it's about the size of a hardcover book. Like a standard kind of hardcover book. It's not as thick. It's maybe like an inch thick at most. And it's not a complete square. It's definitely worn with age, and some of it's chipped in places. But it seems, it would remind you of some kind of stone tablet of some kind, a small tablet.
I'll go up to that. Pardon me one more time. Do you know what this is? And I'll reach up and grab it.
Okay. He says, "Ooh, I haven't seen that in a long time. I forgot that was there."
Oh.
Haven't the daftest what it is.
just knew that my great 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 grandpappy found it.
I see.
It's been in the family for generations.
You wouldn't have a price on it, would you?
It's a rock.
It is a rock.
What do I need a rock for? It hasn't brought me anything. But, it is part of the family heritage. 20?
20.
It's a nice rock.
I agree. I think it's great. Here, I will do this for you. I'll be right back. I will go on ahead and start getting that book that you bought. It'll be only a few
Okay.
seconds.
Second? My, you're quick. Okay.
And I will pay from getting it very fast. Could I get both of these things, the book that I mentioned previously and this tablet, for the 10 gold?
No.
Right, I understand.
20.
20 for both,
And the book.
if I get the book. Right. All right.
He puts out his hand. Deal.
Jacob will shake his hand.
Of
course.
He shakes. All right then. See you when you have the book.
Right.
And he goes
And-
back into his reading.
Jacob is going to make a where is Phineas in all of this?
Phineas, he's just standing outside. Been kind of twiddling his thumbs, waiting for you.
I come out. All right, next mission. I need to see your uncle now.
Sure, that's not a problem. I don't know why you went into that bookstore, though. There's nothing ever good in there.
Oh, trust me, there are plenty of great things in old stores.
Nah.
All right.
I found more stuff out here. A lot more entertaining. As he kind of is doing that thing with a coin that you go back and forth across your fingers. He's doing that with a platinum piece. He's like, heck, I just found this out here.
Did you find it or did you steal it?
I don't steal. Things just happen to come my way. It's just some luck.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I mean, do what you want.
Of course
I'm not
it's
gonna
not
stop
a
you.
bad thing. Why would being lucky be bad?
Touche. So let's head off. Let's get that. Let's meet your uncle.
Okay, sounds good to me. So you guys head towards the university?
I do.
All right. So,
And I'm assuming I have Diana with me.
yep, you sure do. And Oak and Reya, you have now arrived at the apple cart. And you see a very modest looking building with a sign out front. Don't worry, Oak, there's no words on it. It is just a picture of an
An apple cart?
upturned apple cart.
Oh, good.
And
Just kind of looks like she's like, why are we turning over apple carts? And he'll deal with the horses and he's not letting the horses out of his sight while he lets Reya go in and take care of everything.
you do see that there is a on the side of this inn. You can see it from the front. There is a modest stable.
it's got, maybe room for 15 to 20 horses maximum. It's got about 6 in there right now. Um, seems to be well kept up. It's a stable, so it still has that horse smell and the horse crap smell and all that, but
Yeah, it's fine.
it's not a mess. I mean, seems
Yeah.
like it's pretty decent for being a simple stable.
Yeah, so Oak will just go up to whoever stable person is there and just be like, hey,
Hi.
we're staying here? Can horses?
Yeah, of course.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Ginny, by the way. It's nice to meet you.
Hi.
Oh no! Oh, I love it so much.
That is a beautiful horse, and he's obviously looking at your big boy.
Yeah, Bean.
Yep.
Bean.
That is a beautiful horse. Wow.
Yeah, his name is Bean.
Oh, he is so handsome.
Yes.
Oh,
He's a very good boy.
I'll take good care of him, I promise.
Thank you.
She.
I just got them back. I don't want to lose them again.
Okay, I'll take good care of them, I promise. And she leads
Thank
them. She leads them into each one into their own separate stall, and it's very nice. It looks like fresh hay in there already, and she commences to get fresh water for each one of them, and even pulls out a brush and starts brushing Bean right away.
Oak will reluctantly and very slowly just kind of like inch his way back to the inside of the inn because he doesn't want to leave the horses, but he wants to make sure Reya isn't killing anyone.
That's the new goal. Make sure Reya doesn't kill people. Is that it?
Yeah, that's plan.
That's the goal of the town.
That's plan.
Plan apple
I don't
cart.
know. Yeah, plan apple cart. That's plan apple cart.
An apple cart.
All right.
I'm
So
writing that down.
Reya, Oak is putting the horses away in the stable, and I assume you go into the apple cart. Yes. You there, Reya?
I think she left a little while ago.
Oh. Did she now? Uh-oh. Well, we'll have to try calling her back real quick then.
No, I think she deliberately left because she's really tired.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, in that case, guess what, Oak? You are the one who's got to deal with getting a room.
Woo!
Oh, yay! I'm not good with people.
Oh,
So-
so many others.
So when you enter the apple cart, you and Reya, you get in there, and it's, like I said, it's modest, a little different from what you're used to seeing when it comes to inns. Most of the inns it's like an unspoken layout where it's a large common room that it opens up into and a bar, and then there are rooms upstairs. This is very different. As you walk in, there seems to be almost like a desk or a bench just a few feet in, and then you can see a hallway down to the left and a hallway down to the right. And there is a nice young man standing behind the desk, and he sees you two walk in and says, "Well, hello there now. What can I do for you?"
God, I hate these accents. I hate all the accents.
Oh, they're so great. I love it.
What can I do for you?
It feels so much nicer
Um,
getting away from Russian.
It is nice to not have a Russian accent. Me and my friends could use a couple rooms. We've got a couple more people, that we're waiting for. Okay. Did the church say that they would cover the charge for the okay, cool. Then I was gonna say, the church said that they would cover our expenses, I guess, because I don't know how much money is.
Oh, radio. Then let me just get your keys for you then there now, though. So he kind of reaches under the desk and pulls out a couple keys, says, I got you here 2 good rooms. Hey? And
Thank you.
here you go.
Oak takes them. He kind of just looks at them for a minute and he's like, thanks. And then he looks at Reya and he's like, let's go find Jacob.
Okay.
And then
By the
we'll
way,
go out.
your rooms are right down there on the right. If you just go down that hallway right there, you'll see your room. You are in
Yeah.
room number 3 there, and room number 4.
Oak looks at his hands and he's counting. How many doors is that?
He's 1, and he holds up 1 finger. 2, he holds up another finger, and he says, and then 1 more is 3, and then the next one after that is 4.
No, but aren't there like 3 numbers in between those?
No.
Ooh, you might be right.
Oh no. No.
Mom! Mom! How many numbers are between 3 and 4?
Oh no.
Mom! I guess she went off to the market then there now.
Well.
Well,
That's
I guess we'll just try the keys and all the doors, and if they don't work, then we'll
oh,
know
goodness.
which ones aren't our rooms.
Well, that's kind of what I do. Oh well. Whoopsie daisy. If you
And
need
then
anything,
is-
don't don't hesitate to ask, alright?
Cool. I'm gonna go find our other friends,
Don't
and
bother.
he's gonna go out, and he's just gonna go look and get lost in the city.
Okay. Well, with Reya's guidance, she kind of keeps you steered a little bit more on course, and you do end up at the university area. You might not be in the exact right place, but at least you're at the university.
Woo.
Jacob, you, Diana, and Phineas
Woo.
arrive also at the
Time.
university. And which are you going straight to the College of Antiquities?
Oh, I'm going straight for the Antiquity College.
Okay.
I have a mission. I have a plan.
Okay. So you head over there, and as you're heading over there, I need a spot check from you. Or perception check. Used to 3.5
What
sometimes.
game have you been?
3.5. 13 is enough to see the very large, little bit hairy friend of yours as Oak is walking along, kind of just looking around, and you see Reya kind of, puttering her legs along next to him, trying to keep up sometimes as he tends to get distracted every once in a while with what he's looking at.
Ooh, a squirrel!
Yeah. And which
It's a bird!
it is very nice grounds here at the university. The buildings here are very well done architecturally,
So with
as
tax
well.
money.
Yeah, as well as the construction of them is solid, but they are definitely built for for beauty as well as function. And the grounds are kept extremely nice with
Okay.
lots of there is plenty of areas of grass and trees and flower beds, as well as some hardscape of stonework, for stone benches and things. It is
Gotcha.
very much like the what you would consider kind of like a Grecian look to it.
All right.
So basically, it's just a college campus with a nice,
Very large.
green spot.
Yep, very large college campus, and it has scattered throughout it are various areas of greenery. Some
Yeah.
are actually quite large as well.
It's like
Yeah.
if my nice without the smog.
Yeah.
So Jacob is just like, oh, I'm over here.
And then Oak will see him and he's like, "Hey, I know you!" And he'll run up to Jacob.
I mean, yes, you do. I mean, you know me for quite some time.
And then he's gonna pick up Jacob and hug him.
Okay,
nice big
we're
bear
at that
hug.
point. Got it.
And then I'll put him down and be like, "Okay, where to?"
I'm getting a book, maybe a few.
Oh gosh, books. I wish I could read. They seem interesting. People read. People look at books a lot.
Well, if you want, I could read a book to you. It's not difficult.
But I'm gonna fall asleep because I know that I'm gonna get bored.
No, okay.
And you have a very nice, soothing voice, Jacob.
I have a nice what?
Soothing voice.
Ah, well, thank you. I don't talk. You have a voice too.
Thank you.
Roll with it. Anyway, to the Antiquity College.
All right. You find yourself walking through several spaces, and there's lots of people going to and fro here. This is your kind of place, Jacob, because many of these people aren't even watching where they're going because they've got their heads in a book as they're walking. I mean, this is like the nerd paradise when it comes to academia.
It's time.
If they had, like a Google server here, storing information, that would be about the epitome of it. Unfortunately, they just haven't developed that stuff yet.
Almost. Maybe in
Almost.
a few thousand years.
Yeah, yeah. The closest they can come now are really, really old wizard dudes that just know a lot. So
You're fine.
yeah, but
Divination says.
now Phineas, he's been kind of leading you this way. I mean, you're on a beeline for exactly where you want to go because he knows his way around, and he takes you right through into the College of Antiquities buildings,
Mm-hmm.
and heads straight for the library. And yes, go ahead.
Before we go any further, I'd be like, hey, Phineas, you mentioned before that you just managed to get lucky on certain things. Do you mind doing that for me for a little bit while I get some books?
What exactly do you mean?
You have a knack of lucky finds of coins.
So you want me to see if I happen to notice any lost coins?
Yes.
What's in it for me?
Oak is gonna look at Ray. He's gonna be like, "Why didn't Jacob just ask him to steal stuff for him?"
What's in it for you is Oak will like you a lot more.
Really?
He kind of looks up at Oak
No.
with
No.
Okay, you didn't convince me there on that one.
Um, uh, you could get from Diana on the cheek. I don't know.
You kind of broke up there. What was that you said?
You could get a kiss from Diana on the cheek or something.
Well,
I don't know.
I
Aww.
don't need that. That I mean that's sweet. You know, he kind of smiles at Diana, but that I couldn't do that. I'll tell you
looks at
what.
Phineas. Oak looks at Phineas. He's like, I could give you a kiss. Mm.
Okay, I really don't need
All
that.
right.
Okay, how about this? Every lost item I find, I get one and you get one.
That's perfectly fine. 50-50.
Okay.
That's okay with me.
All right, sounds like a deal. Oh, but I'm not doing it in here. This is where my uncle works.
Well, I wouldn't want you to do it in here. That'd be really ridiculous, and well, people would find out very fast. We're more perspective than you think.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here. This way.
Nerds.
This way. Over here.
Yep. All right.
And he leads you to a bunch of desks that are kind of set in a central area, where there are several different people there. You see a couple elves, some humans, some. There's even a dwarf there. Several halflings, and one of them he walks up to and says,
Hey, Uncle Rupert. These are my new friends. This one here, Jacob. He really likes books.
and
So,
the
Mr.
halflings.
Bumbleshoot.
Oh, just call me Rupert.
All right, Rupert.
So,
I'm looking for.
what kind of books you like?
Jeez. Hold on. All right. Okay.
What kind of books you like?
I am looking for something on the history of the Von War, specifically, if you have something towards the Battle of Tisrain River.
Tisrain River. Battle in Antiquities. I thought that would be more like ancient history. Hold on though. Maybe
Alright.
I'll have some.
And Phineas turns to his uncle and says,
Okay, Uncle Rupert, yeah, I got some business to attend to, so I'll leave them in your capable hands. I'll be back, Jacob. And he
winks at you, and then he takes off out the door.
All right.
Oak is shaking his head, looking very disappointed. He doesn't know what's going on, but he knows Phineas is up to something.
Look, it's a 50-50 deal. I didn't do anything wrong. Anyways.
So,
And Jacob is just mesmerized by the books.
yes, and so Rupert starts digging in through a rudimentary card catalog. Using
Use
the
catalog.
yes, and which uses the Dilbert decimal system. So
Oh, God.
yes, because Dewey's not a very popular name. So, but
Dilbert,
Dilbert is. So he starts going through.
the
I
gnome
love
with the
that look on your face, Oak. That is
I'm pretty sure it was the gnome that set that up, right?
yes.
Gilbert the
But-
gnome.
Yep, but he starts looking through, and he pulls out a little card, looks at it real quick and says,
Okay, follow me.
and then he kind of steps out from behind the desk and kind of takes off at a fast walk, nothing too fast because he's got shorter legs than you, so you guys are, with the exception of Reya,
who Reya actually got pretty tired and decided to head back to the apple cart and rest. So you head off, and he takes you through several aisles, then to the back, up a set of stairs onto the second floor, around through to another set of stairs to get up to the third floor, start going through some of the shelves there, and he finally stops and he looks and he says, yeah, up there. And he points, yeah, right. 5 to the right of that edge of the shelf. I can't reach that.
All right. Jay will go over to it.
Okay. And when you pull it down, it simply says on it, Silver Sword. And he says,
Oh.
That's the only one I could think of that has anything to do with the Battle of Tezrain River. It's about the Silver Swords, and specifically the sword that they get their name from.
Right, of course.
And that's it talks a little bit about the battle in there and everything that happened there, which, yeah, Oathbreakers.
Oak gasps.
What?
Oathbreaker.
Oh, ancient history. Anyway,
No, but seriously, what happened? Oathbreaker. Do you know?
The
Because
whole-
my friend.
Okay.
he's kind of taken aback at the intensity that you just kind of came at him with, and he's like,
just what I know of from the history of the battle. I mean, it's in there.
and he points to the book.
Jacob, read me a book.
What?
Read the book to me. I need to know because Reya
How long would it
has a
take me to
very.
read the full book?
It's a pretty thick book. Unfortunately, I do not think there is a speed read feat in D&D. So I'm going to go with... Well, let's see. If you're trying to read a book to get good information out of it...
We've got 4 days.
Yeah, you could easily get through it in a couple days if you really wanted to.
Okay.
Um,
I have a plan.
but I mean, it's
Jacob, this is my chance to figure out.
it's gonna take up some time to go through in a couple days. I mean, if you stretched it out over a week, you could, a few hours a day, and then you could do it in a week.
Oh no, Jacob's putting all of his time into reading it.
Yeah, then you could easily get it done in 2 days.
Jacob, yeah, Oak is violently shaking Jacob by the shoulders. Like, this is our chance. Chance to figure out why Reya hates the phrase Oathbreaker.
Yeah, I get that, but I can't read if you're shaking me because Rim sits on the shoulder and Rim is moving up and down trying to read the page.
Oh, sorry. And Oak stops.
If you'd like to check it out, we can do that, or you can read it here. It's totally up to you.
I'm fine with just reading it here. I'll just come back each time. If that's alright with you.
Sure. Plenty of tables and chairs to sit at. You need anything else, let me know. Just out of curiosity, why a book on the Battle at Tezrain?
I have some personal favors to get. That's all.
Interesting.
It also seems very interesting as well.
Alright, well, you need anything else, you'll know where to find me.
And he
Right, of
heads
course.
off.
Jacob will begin reading the book to Oak
All
and
right.
do it the rest of the day.
Oak is just gonna like sit. Oak probably has like this paper. He's just like doodling at the same time with listening because he can't do one thing at a time. He's just
Okay.
gotta like move. But he's totally listening, and he's like just doodling little stick figures and just all this stupid little things.
Okay. So you're gonna spend kind of like the rest of the day reading, or okay, all right. Considering your walk around the city and what you've done, I will say by the time you get to this point and get the book, it is probably right around noon, 11 a.m., noon, somewhere in that range. You know, right about lunchtime ish, which is why Reya decided to take a nap. She needed an afternoon nap, you know,
Fair enough.
kind of tired. But yeah, you can stay there and read. And the nice thing about this being a collegiate library is that as long as you are respectful of the books and the property, there is actually right down in nearby the ability to get food and drink if you need it, as long as you don't bring it into certain areas of the library.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So-
I mean,
So they're pretty good about that. So you're able to get yourself a meal if you want and spend most of the day there. But the library does close down at about 8 o'clock that evening. So
all right. Well, as he's reading it, I have one question. How large is the book?
Are you gonna try to
It's-
steal it?
it's pretty thick. It's not as thick as the one you found with information on Northcutt in
Okay.
in the little shop. But it's close. You know, that one was maybe about 4 inches thick. This is probably about 3.
Okay, and then like length and width wise, it's
It's pretty big. It's bigger in those dimensions than the other one. It's probably a good 18 inches tall
okay.
and probably about 12 wide.
Okay, I mean, that's all the
You
information
know,
I need.
I mean, you're basically reading like 11 by 17 sheets of paper, you know, in book form.
Yeah.
Do
Okay.
you want
Yeah, I mean,
Oak
Jake
to stuff
will-
it in his shirt?
No, it's fine. You know, he'll head back to lodging.
All right. So you get about I'll say a full 8 hours, even with some mealtime in there. You kind of work through. And Oak, I will say that since you are kind of reading this information to Oak at the same time, it's kind of like story time for you, Oak. But you're also, you know, doodling at the same time and stuff like that. You're getting some information out of it.
Okay, to
but
be
not
fair, I can
nearly
doodle
as
and
much.
listen at the same time. I am pretty good at the, like.
Right.
I've got ADHD. I know how this works.
Oh yeah.
He can
I
doodle and he
agree.
can listen.
You're getting some information out of it, but there are some of the more complex aspects of it.
Okay, yeah, that stuff. Yeah.
Those things are
That's
you're not quite grasping, but you are getting the basic gist of everything. Okay, and in that 8 hours of time frame, you've gotten about halfway through, and you figure
Awesome.
if you do that again, you'll be able to finish it up. And what you've been able to find out is it's not just about the Battle of Tisrain River. That's you're actually just starting to get into that. What it starts out is it's a history of this artifact that is called the Silver Sword. That it starts out with who originally crafted it. It was originally made by some elven smiths that created this silver short sword, and it was, you know, a very fine work of art. I mean, it looked like it needed to be displayed in a museum
as opposed to wielded in battle. However, it would cut sharper, like better than a razor. It would, it couldn't be broken, and it's going through all, which a lot of it you could assume to be some exaggeration due to, you know, legend and time blurring some of the facts.
All right.
But what you get out of it is that it is believed that the sword was forged probably around 600 to 700 years ago.
All right.
And that leading up to the Battle of Tisrain River, it talks about everyone who had used it and held it up to that point, and a little bit about their histories. And then, before you stop for that day, you hear a tale of a decent-sized city. Not the biggest city in the world, but a decent-sized city that was a halfling city.
Mm-hmm.
And during the Vorn Wars, as the Vorn invaded from the lands to the north and began to decimate all these individual kingdoms and tear things apart, King Hepturnus, a human, who had begun to rally all the other races together and
Right.
to save the land. Well, as he started rallying some of them, some other smaller skirmishes that eventually would be swept up into the greater battle occurred, and the Battle of Tisrain River was one of them. And it was fought on elven lands, or what had been controlled by the elves at that time, after they had been more or less scattered. And they had managed to get as many of their people together as they could to try to form a small army. And they enlisted some of their neighbors to the southwest, which was this halfling city. And in this halfling city, the leader of the halfling city was presented with the silver sword by the elves and told, "We give you this gift so that you can lead your people in battle and that we can be victorious against this unstoppable foe."
All right.
And you find out that this halfling is, being that he has been given this silver sword, everyone in the city decides that, your previous last name, no, that's not who you are now. You are now so-and-so. Silver Sword is your new surname.
Okay.
And so, for some small fights, things went okay. They outnumbered the enemy, and the small skirmishes, and the elves and halflings were doing well. But as they approached the Tisrain River, the enemy forces were way more numerous than they could expect. And they began to basically decimate the elves who were barely holding on. And when the leader of this halfling city and his forces got there, they saw what was happening. And the leader, having courage leave his heart, threw down the sword and then ordered his people to flee. And because of it, the elves were routed, and it was a massacre. And many of the halflings people had it kind of split. Some of them wanted to stay and fight. They were also decimated, and many of them that were fleeing were caught and killed. And he managed to survive, and his line lived on. And it was told that the silver sword once thought lost, was actually found by one of his ancestors. But he had forever, since he denied the pledge that he gave the elves to fight to death and defeat their enemy, he is forever, him and his line, been called the Oathbreakers. And that is where we will end tonight.
Okay.
All right, so I hope you enjoyed the stream. Hope you enjoyed watching the shenanigans tonight, and all the funny voices and apple carts and Dilbert decimal systems and
Dilbert
all,
decimal systems.
that's right.
Most important.
So please, if you enjoyed, we'd love to get a follow if you want. That's one way you can show support. If not, just tell buddies about it. Maybe they want to check it out. We'd appreciate that. If you didn't get to see the entire stream and you want to catch up on what happened, it should be on the VOD on the Twitch channel. If for whatever reason you miss it or you can't want to catch up later, you can check it out on our YouTube channel. You could also follow us on our Twitter or Facebook page to get more information about what's going on. And hope to see you guys next week. Have a good one. Bye, everybody.